Ladies and gentlemen, CNN is laying off or firing hundreds and hundreds of people. According to the Wall Street Journal, CNN layoffs are underway. The Hollywood Reporter, layoffs begin at CNN amid Warner Brothers Discovery cost-cutting plan. Axios, CNN layoffs begin, network boss says. Yahoo Finance, gut punch, CNN cuts staffers amid Warner Brothers Discovery rebuild. Here's the issue. You could look at Disney and their profits have shrunk. You could look at CNN, and this is essentially the Trump curse. They devoted their lives, their souls, their very existence to taking down Trump, and you see it now. Oh my God, he had a dinner. Well, poverty has increased since 2019 and since 2 years ago. Poverty was at a record low in 2019 under Trump. That is more important than a dinner that was a setup, a political setup that Trump, did not see coming. He opposes and denounced the views, the despicable views, the horrible and despicable views of not only the person who was uninvited that Ye brought to the dinner, but also Ye's views. But it's not enough, because Democrats, media, wonderful, morally superior, highly educated, liberal Democrats, they don't need to look at things as, well, poverty is more important, or a rail unions are going to go on strike and possibly completely undermine the economy. Runs these rail unions help run the U.S. economy. So if they are on strike under Biden's administration, oh, by the way, Biden didn't side with the unions, our economy ceases to exist. Trucks, the trucking industry, railroads, that's how our economy runs, not through windmills and solar power. But again, you're looking at another example of the Trump curse, and Trump has to do, he has to do a better job of watching out who he has dinner with, because he's already decided to run for president. I want Trump. I want record low poverty. I want the antithesis of Lincoln Project foreign policy. But you have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, we don't live in a world where people actually care about poverty or economic growth or geopolitical nightmares in Europe. The political establishment, American political establishment, doesn't care. So, and I'll explain exactly why. Hit subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen, right now. Subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. Starting tomorrow, I'll be doing a lot of work on H.A. Goodman's other channel, the Stock Market Crash channel, and this channel. Obviously, this channel. But hit subscribe. If you want to support my work, my Patreon is below, next to in the pinned comment. If you want to give a super thanks has been below as well. And if you want to be part of a newsletter, it's contactgoodman88@gmail.com. I will be sending out a newsletter very soon. Ladies and gentlemen, CNN focused only on Trump, along with MSNBC and the Washington Post and the New York Times and Vanity Fair and Esquire and The Atlantic and the New Yorker, New York Magazine. It's an entire public relations monstrosity. What took place was CNN used to be middle of the road. About 20 years ago, it actually was far more conservative, sided with the Bush administration. And you have to understand, George W. Bush now, who presided over and got us into never-ending counterinsurgency, conflicts, and wars, and ended his presidency with a stock market collapse and economic catastrophe, has a positive favorability rating among Democrats. The Democratic Party and the American political establishment, they only care about image. It's not profitable, but it's also an unfortunate reality. So, in terms of profitability, CNN has been losing money, or the revenues have declined, I should say, and you're looking at layoffs. You're looking at layoffs in the tech sector as well. But it says something that every single person, every single company or corporation or media outlet that devoted its entire life, its existence, I should say, or its business model to taking down Trump is now having to lay off and fire people. That says something about Trump. It says something about the people desperate to take him down. And it says something about American politics and media. Most Americans do not trust media. Most Democrats do. That should tell you something also. Trust in media nationwide is like 30%. Something like that. 34%. But 70% of Democrats, loyal, wonderful, liberal Democrats, trust media. What does that tell you? It tells you that the Democratic Party relies on media to bolster its sensibilities. When you focus too much on morally superior, highly educated liberal sensibilities, and everything is a big deal, everything is a bigoted statement, everything is linked to the future of American democracy and defeating Trump, then you have people ignoring poverty, ignoring inflation, ignoring the FTX debacle, the fact that crypto is going to implode. Coinbase, Tether, and Binance are next. It's not just FTX. They could be the giant canary in the coal mine, but there have been numerous other ones like smaller than FTX that have gone under just in the past week. And so you have a complete, that's a source of funding for the Democratic Party, but I don't revel in this. I don't want people to lose their jobs because I even ideology aside or political viewpoints aside, I don't want people to lose their jobs, their livelihood. Okay, I don't want people to go on unemployment, but that's the way the Democratic Party works. You had people in tech desperate to get Trump out of office. You had Twitter working with the United States government, which is you're actually going against and breaking the First Amendment. The First Amendment protects speech from government intervention. So you had the United States government working with top officials at Twitter. What they've done is obsessed over information that misinforms, and that's all they've done through CNN. CNN existed the way Twitter existed prior to what's going on with CNN and Twitter with Elon Musk. It was a platform to promote emotion. It was a platform to promote and enforce morally superior liberal sensibilities. That's not profitable. It's not profitable for Disney. It's not profitable for Twitter. It wasn't profitable for Twitter. And it's not profitable before Elon Musk. And who knows what'll happen with Twitter. I think that he bought the company primarily to ensure that it's not used against him. And free speech was also a very important, other issue that he was focusing on. I think also the main issue is that he didn't want it to be used against him. Once Twitter was used against Elon Musk, then CNN would then join the frenzy. And then the Washington Post and the New York Times. Twitter was the epicenter of whatever it is the Democratic Party wanted in terms of political agenda. So the Hunter Biden story suspended. The New York Post is suspended. It apparently broke Twitter rules. But you know what didn't break Twitter rules? The Steele dossier didn't. Well, gee, I wonder why. These are all arbitrary, the people who would fit Big Brother in George Orwell's 1984 are Democrats. These are the people who want never-ending conflict in Europe, who have to oppose you-know-who, the Kremlin, because they installed Trump. These are the people who believe in myths and information that misinforms, and then they're completely apoplectic about information that misinforms. What they really mean is information that is a counterpoint, an opposing viewpoint, and another argument or opposing argument to their viewpoint. They don't want anyone to take away the media narrative from their stranglehold. So, the Democratic Party found a way to influence Twitter, CNN, the American political media. and the American political establishment. And that's why they focus more on a dinner than poverty rates. That's why they focus more on a dinner than actual, like, what's a greater example of bigotry than having people mired in poverty and poverty rates getting worse under Democrats? What's worse? Poverty rates getting worse, or a dinner that Trump was set up with? Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. Well, CNN is finding out. Hit subscribe thing. I'll be